to Spark. This afternoon, I am so delighted to welcome Liam Gundlach, a native of Thetford, who is a circus artist. He has been a practicing circus artist since he was 7 years old, starting off with the Van Lostov family circus camp in Norwich before joining Circus Smirkus in Greensboro, Vermont, with whom he advanced his training and was a member of the summer Big Top touring company for several years. After graduating from Thetford Academy in 2015, Liam headed to the École de Cirque de Québec in Quebec City, from whence he graduated in 2020 with a major in Diablo, which we will explain, a minor in hand-to-hand Icarian games, which I'm sure I'm mispronouncing, but Liam can correct me. Liam has created and performed solo shows, ensemble productions with Circus, Turbo 418, and other circus performances, and created performance pieces with his partner, Ripley Burns. This is my favorite thing. Liam says his life work is to bring color and texture into the world around him and in living a compassionate and creative lifestyle. He loves to play music, fold origami, Diablo, ski, write, cook, perform, dance, clown, and spread compassion through all parts of his life, opening doors with consciousness and creativity. Liam, welcome to Spark.
Thanks for having me.
So excited to have you. And I will tell you that Liam and I had an incredible conversation about a week ago that has just stuck with me, and I keep thinking about the things that we talked about, and I know we're not going to get to our full hour and 45-minute conversation here, but I really hope that we can, share some of the big ideas and thoughts and questions that you have as an artist. But we're going to start off with a little bit of history. First off, I think a lot of people dream about running off and joining the circus, and you actually did that. And when you were really, really young, you did that. I just wonder if you could describe for us, for those of us who, might not know what's entailed in being a circus artist, what that is.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think like any thing, it's like what being a circus artist is different to every person, and there's so many different. It means so many different things in different places. But there's definitely at its roots, it's a folk art, so it's really something that's for the people. And in my experience with circus, it's been a lot about collaboration and community and traveling. Those are kind of like the three big things. And then, even within that, like what it goes into for the individual, usually it's taking on a certain discipline. And a lot of those disciplines are traditional. They go back hundreds or thousands of years. And they're acrobatic, they're artistic, whatever artistic means. They're oftentimes relating to like dexterity, skill, athleticism, and especially creativity and remixing all of the things that have been done in the past to make new things. And then there's also a real like human element, because it's performance without this idea of the fourth wall. Sometimes there is a fourth wall, because like all art forms, it's getting totally remixed, and there's contemporary circus and all different ways that it interacts with theater and dance and all this other kind of stuff. But in general, at least the way that I'm thinking about it right now, is that there is less of a divide between the performer and the audience. And there's more of a direct communication. And the way that that's most like personified is kind of through the role of the clown, which is a really iconic piece of circus.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you first started studying circus arts, is it sort of like you go to liberal arts college and you study all of the different disciplines and then you figure out kind of where you want to put your focus, or how does it work?
It is like, it's more like going to music conservatory and you have to know exactly what you're doing going into it.
Okay.
It's for, I'd say, going to circus school. That was my experience of circus school. Not all circus schools are like that. And of course, there's a lot of free time to explore, but there was kind of an intensity of focus on, you should know what you're doing going into it and stick with that.
And is that true even when you were really young, or do you mean circus school, the where you went for high school?
No, when I was young in the old days, it was the exact opposite.
You were getting
like where I started Van Lodestad, it's try anything, surprise yourself. If you fail, it's okay.
What a great thing to say to a 7-year-old.
That, yes, yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah. And so you then, for your focus, you are Diablo is your focus. Can you just talk a little bit about that art form?
Yeah. So Diablo was kind of my first, it's like the first thing that I fell in love with circus when I was 7.
Wow.
6 or 7. And it's just something that I do, and I like to share it. And for me, it's like, there are technical ambitions with it. There are like tricks to learn, and goals to achieve, but then there are also like creative ambitions with it.
Mm-hmm.
And which is all just diving into the possibilities that haven't been explored yet. And then there's also like, a really big piece of it for me is about relationship. It's like really just exploring relationship between two things. So like the Diablo becomes a representation of just another thing to relate to. So a lot of like what I'm excited about, and I've been excited about recently, is personifying the Diablo, either literally or just more in the feeling of how I'm doing it, giving it weight, giving it like texture and color, and like interacting with it in just trying to develop as much as I can, like a real kind of interaction with it.
Yeah. So you're imbuing it with personality or with importance.
Yeah, or
yes,
yes, and maybe it's not that I'm imbuing it with personality, but there is an alien personality consciousness that wants to come out of this thing, and I'm just there to kind of like help. Like,
wow.
That's so it, like a lot of the time when I'm doing it, I'm going into like, I don't know, I'm just going into like kind of imaginative states where I can't really tell, if it's me projecting a thing onto it, or if it's a thing that's like making itself happen.
Okay.
It's really crazy and cool. It's super cool. It's also silly. It's also silly because it's just, it's basically I haven't even said what it is. It's basically a big yo-yo. It's a big yo-yo that I'm obsessed with, that I've spent, probably over 10,000 hours practicing with.
Wow.
Like,
well, that's, I mean, yeah,
much time.
2/3 of your life.
Oh, maybe not that much.
Okay.
2/3.
I don't know. That was
right.
bad math. That was bad math.
I think I'm older than that, but I'm not. I'm not sure. I'm not positive.
Yeah, there. So I'm hoping. I mean, I have tons of pictures of you, and I'll see if we can find a little clip of you performing, because I just think it's so beautiful and cool. The movement and the expression that you find. I get what you're saying about them being little aliens. I think you call them little buddies, which I also love.
Yeah, that was
your little buddies.
that. I have to credit my partner Ripley. Her mom once referred to them as little buddies, and I was looking for like a name for my graduating act, and like I was really struggling and really trying to come up with the perfect name, and she was like, "Oh, it's just so cute with your little buddies." But I just was like, "That's the best name that I have so far."
And that positive naming of them must inform the pieces that you create with them, right? Like, I mean, if you called them the little evil minions, that would be
Yeah,
you'd have a different relationship to which I would really like to see that show.
Yeah, but they do have like a mischievous thing, and I am curious to go more into like, you know, like I said, it's a relationship, and I have experimented with like more you know, like more serious kinds of things with them. I just haven't shared a lot of that.
Okay.
But it is like, yeah, I don't know how I feel. I don't know if they'll be little buddies forever.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like at their heart it is playfulness. It is like there is like lightness to it.
Yeah.
That's just to say I don't know exactly where it's gonna end, like where else it's gonna go.
Yeah, but you're right. You can go from playful to mischievous, you know, and mischief can have dire consequences.
Yeah.
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 So you and I have talked about this, how somebody told me, I think probably on Spark, that a professional artist is the person who never puts down the crayon that they were drawing with in fourth grade, which I really love that. Because it's really,
we got really into the crayons,
the
crayon metaphors.
Crayon metaphor went far. It goes a long way about we're going to melt that crayon down and reconstitute it. But you did this literally, you know, like me, this was about third grade, and you've never stopped doing it. You know, why do you continue? What is it about this that you feel like this is my life's calling?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well,
or is it?
I'd say it's like kind of like a meditation. And it exists for me not to its own means, but also to serve the rest of my life. It's like, so it feels, you know, it's like, it feels like it feels like my calling right now, because it's the best way that I can like do what I want to do in life right now. And in the past, it's often been my escape. It's been or my like private space to channel my like feelings and my like obsessiveness and all of that. And now it feels like, I mean, it's still that, you know, let's be serious, it's still that, but it also feels like it's the it's serving to, in some ways, to help me learn how to engage more with life and other situations too. You know, it's like through performance I'm learning, or through practice, because there hasn't been much performance.
Yeah,
through practice I'm learning how to like I'm learning the way that I like to be. And I'm like tuning into like what my sort of like playful spirit is, what my energy is, what I want to like give to my own life. And then when I'm out in the world, like when I'm interacting with people, especially, all of that work really helps me to know, like have more clarity as to like how to be in all the other situations that are out of my control.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, yeah.
That's a big impact. I mean, that's a lot. So with that idea of it's helping you to sort of do the things that you want to do, and you're like, what are those things? What is it that, what's
Yeah.
the dream? What's the dream?
Uh, dream. I mean, the what is the dream? The physical dream right now is to travel and perform.
Yeah.
And um, to sort of mix, to just keep mixing my artistic life with the rest of my life, and to continue taking away this like wall that I have between them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't need to be there.
Right. To
You know?
it's like that compartmentalization. What is
Yeah.
that sort of,
It's like, and very literally, like a dream of mine is to just be comfortable being myself and talking about the things I find interesting, and like expressing my humor and feelings with people.
those are, yeah,
Like,
you want to be your best self, and this helps you do
yeah,
that, right?
yeah, and it especially helps because it's like um, with circus, it's like there is when you mess up in a performance, you can't hide it. You have to go with it. You have to accept it. Everyone sees it, and so it's a really good like um, metaphor, I guess, for messing up in general.
Yeah.
Not trying
Yeah.
to hide it, but
Yeah.
that's it.
In life, right? And that it's okay to fail, that you're not gonna, that mess up isn't going to affect the,
Yeah,
you are as a human being.
and also that the process of accepting it and showing that it's okay is tremendously important and powerful.
Yeah.
And like it can be such a huge relief when you see like, oh, even someone who's really good at this thing messes up, and it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. They're having fun nonetheless. It's like they aren't attaching so much value to the perfection of this thing.
Yes.
So
Man, so this is, you just said the like number one reason why everybody should take their kids to the circus,
yeah,
is to get that lesson. Yeah.
yeah.
I love that.
So many other art forms are like, you know,
Edited.
get like tight. I mean, and even circus, it's not inherently, but I think that that's the spirit. I think that's what it aspires to be.
Yeah. 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 I mean, yes. And I wonder about, we don't have to get into this, but I wonder about, circus performances now being done online or filmed or that kind of thing. And there is it's the same thing with theater, where I sort of watch that and go, well, that's cool, but is it theater? Because isn't part of the objective of theater or circus is, no, this, you enter into this space, we share an experience, and you emerge changed, and you share it with the performers as well as with your other audience members.
Yeah.
And dance too, I suppose, but music, all live performing arts, right? Whereas when we start to have to do things on Zoom or film, like National Theater Live, those kinds of things, which, don't get me wrong, I love all of that, but it's different. It's not,
Yeah.
doesn't have the initial intent, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, we can't, I feel like I always, with you, I'm like, let's go down this path.
Where
are we going? So with all of that in mind, you talk about a sense of play and wonder and willingness to fail and ability to kind of accept that and move on with joy. And what do you think is one thing that people could do to kind of bring those circus feelings into their lives, besides going to watch you perform, or that?
I've thought about this.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Um, I think like just doing what you can to get out of here and get into like the rest of the body, to tune into like what you're feeling, and like because there's so many voices and pressures, I believe, in our society to produce and to achieve. And it can be like entering it can feel like going to war to go against those things, to like really just like slow down. First off, that's a good one. Slow down,
right?
Yeah. Slow down, observe everything that's happening in your body, and observe what's happening outside of your body, and like even observe your thoughts, but like in meditation, just like let them pass, and just I don't know, all those things.
Yeah. Say hi to them and then let them go. And
I like for myself freeing up my body and my voice. And I think that the degree with which we can express things is like so much larger than what we've like sort of societally been like compressed into.
Yeah.
So finding ways to break those rules for yourself first. Because for me, like I often get into this thing where it's like I feel so much like trapped inside one way of doing it when I'm around people.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about all these different things and all these different people, but really the only person who's really like defining the rules of how I should be is myself. So just sort of like coming to terms with that, and then realizing that like, something.
Yeah.
There's an end to that sentence. I don't know what it is. That's my advice.
It's so good. Liam, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. And what I love about this conversation is I know that you're processing as we're talking, that you don't, I feel like you're a living embodiment of the idea of being in the moment, of thinking through things and figuring them out as you go along, and without sort of pat answers, which I really appreciate.
I had those too. I just can't. I try, and it just stresses me out.
Yeah, but you don't need to, because you're very thoughtful, and it's really wonderful. You're so great to talk to. So thank you for joining us on Spark. I will say everybody should check out your website, because that I'm sure will, you can watch performances of yours on there and see beautiful photos of you and your partner's work. But also there's I assume you'll start posting where you're performing and things like that as that starts to become possible again.
Yeah.
Instagram
is my main way of sharing stuff. The website is a good way of like communicating plans and things.
Thank you, Liam. And I just can't wait. I just can't wait to see what happens next for you, and to watch your beautiful work go out into the world.
Thank you so much. Thanks for doing this.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining me. And you've been watching Spark, the Upper Valley's arts and culture program here on CATV. Of course, you can always subscribe to CATV's YouTube channel to catch up on episodes of Spark or rewatch your favorites. And you can, as I mentioned, learn more about our guests by following the links down in the description field. Thanks so much for joining us. This is Spark.